Saturday?
Really, one, to give guys that are maybe early enrollees, guys that haven't played a lot, an opportunity to play in front of a crowd, play in front of an environment, to let them go play and showcase their abilities. And at the end of the day, you know, games like this are kind of like preseason games from the standpoint of you really got to look at the individual play of guys and how they play, because the way you mix and match things, it may not be the guys you're necessarily going to go into the game with at all the time, but here are the pieces. And then once we come together, we're going to put the pieces together. So the biggest thing to me is guys are giving effort, guys are showing improvement, and really play to your ability and showcase your talents to allow us to evaluate you, to find out what kind of role you can have on our team.
How have your early enrollees done this spring?
Good. I mean, I think they're way ahead. I mean, anytime you can come in and basically get 15 days of spring practice, learn pretty much the majority of the concepts that we have, really all the concepts that we have, be able to get that on tape, you know, get the coaching, get the techniques, understand all of that stuff, get some plays on tape, and then then go back in the summer, and as you're working out with, you know, the team and Coach Savage and all that, be able to watch the tapes on the plays and, you know, kind of refine what you do. So when we come back in August or at the end of July, then, you know, they're ready to go, and it's not the first time they've heard it. So it definitely gives them a head start.
How comfortable are you with the guys off the edge? I mean, given you got to replace Chikai and CC.
I mean, I've had to replace guys every year. You know what I'm saying?
11 sacks.
Yeah. I mean, I had to replace Justin Houston, and then Jarvis Jones came along. You know, so, I mean, I'm not concerned about that.
Well, I mean,
we'll find out.
Who's standing out? I mean, somebody's
well, when you look, Zuniga's pretty good. He'll be off the edge. We brought Jonathan in to be an edge rusher for us. Mamu is a guy that, you know, we signed to be an outside linebacker. You know, when you look at David Reese, young David Reese, he's a guy that has some speed for us. You know, Moon's a guy that played last year for us. You know, you got Bogle coming in too. So, I mean, we're always going to find ways to manufacture pass rush. I mean, that position over the last 8 years in the league has averaged 10.5 sacks at that position, so I'm not concerned about that. We'll find a way to get after it.
Jabari in particular, has he really kind of stepped
up?
Yeah,
well, I think anytime you're in year two, and you were able to go back and refine the things you did, say, year one, and it becomes maybe second nature to you, or it becomes your habitual traits. I think it allows you to continue to play fast. He's a guy that's very conscientious and wants to be a really good player. So I think with him, it's just a matter of continuing to refine his craft, because, you know, he can give us rush both inside and outside. And at the end of the day, it's about what combination of guys gives us the best rush. So we'll mix and match those guys.
What are you seeing from Zach Carter this week?
A little bit more maturity. Weight room's helped. You know, playing to the identity we like for him to play to. Playing multiple spots for us, being able to play end and tackle for us. A guy that wants to be a good player. He's got the tools to be a good player. Certainly a guy I'm looking forward to watch play on Saturday and letting him showcase his ability.
How much of the spring game is scripted from a standpoint of we've been working on this, and maybe it's something that they're not getting yet, but we want them to have it on film to kind of go over, since you won't see them or be able to coach them again. Dana mentioned I might tell Todd to call a certain defense.
Yeah, that's what they can score touchdowns in. I'm not running in the end zone. No, it's just we're going to play. There's nothing from that standpoint. I mean, you could call anything, and we're going to match it. I mean, it's not that. Now, there might be some things that happen within the course of the game to create excitement, but from a play standpoint, there's nothing that we should see that we wouldn't be able to already be prepared for. So it won't be anything like that.
You have a few guys that are changing positions: Amari Burney, David Reese, switching down. What has that process been like, getting them to kind of adjust to those spots? Yeah, well, Burney actually played the money backer last year for us a little bit. He's a guy that he can really run. He's got pretty good instincts, you know, for a guy that hasn't played in the box a lot. I see him being able to be a guy that plays for us inside and gives us some snaps in there. I like his work ethic. I like his demeanor. He wants to be a good player. I think he'll continue to get better and be the kind of guy we want him to be. So, you know, looking forward to that. As far as David goes,
David's probably more comfortable outside than inside. Just watching him, his speed shows up. So I think it's a matter of really looking forward to watching him play Saturday, you know, in front of a crowd, to let him showcase his speed and his athletic ability, because he can make some things happen.
You said last year CJ might be the best college cornerback you've coached. What steps has he taken? I mean, he looks like stronger for one, but
yeah,
I think how can he improve? I guess is
leverages when we go through the tapes and cut ups. You know, wide receiver splits tell you things. So within the call, you're allowed to play a certain way. Maybe understanding exactly where my help is and how hard I can play outside or how hard I can play inside, or where my eyes got to be, where they really need to go for me to play maybe a hair quicker. I think all of that stuff. You know, he's a dynamic player. He's a guy, like I said, I think he's the best guy. Well, he is the best guy I've ever coached at that position. So really, it's more about, when I talk about guys honing in on their exactness, he's a guy that I'm talking about. And I thought he did a really good job of working with the young guys and showing them how to run individual, you know. So as we move forward, this is the way it should be. So that standard's there. But then from a personal standpoint, just working to understand leverages and how I can play guys and things like that to maybe get my hands on a few more balls.
John Huggins is one that I feel like's had a very good, solid spring, especially adjusting to his position. What have you seen from him?
Yeah, he's a physical player. He has the ability to play underneath zone stuff. He has a little bit of man skills because he played DB, plays safety. He's big, so like on the perimeter plays, the bubble plays, he can set the edge on the guy blocking him and turn it back or make a play. Then when he's a blitzer, you got to really account for him, because, you know, he's a mismatch on a back because he's got some size and power to him. So he really brings some versatility to that position, and gives us the flexibility to, you know, put him in the game. I mean, give Trey a blow and then use him that way.
One last one, the draft.